إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله صلوات الله وسلامه عليه أما بعد يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله حق تقاته ولا تموتن إلا وأنتم مسلمون يا أيها الناس اتقوا ربكم الذي خلقكم من نفس واحدة وخلق منها زوجها وبث منهما رجالا كثيرا ونساء واتقوا الله الذي تساءلون به والأرحام إن الله كان عليكم رقيبا يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله وقولوا قولا سديدا يصلح لكم أعمالكم ويغفر لكم ذنوبكم ومن يطع الله ورسوله فقد فاز فوزا عظيما أما بعد فإن أصدق الحديث كتاب الله وأحسن الهدي هدي محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم وشر الأمور محدثاتها وكل محدثة بدعة وكل بدعة ضلالة وكل ضلالة في النار ثم أما بعد يا عباد الله, O servants of Allah, O slaves of Allah, where is the love? أين الحب؟ وقال الله تعالى والمؤمنون والمؤمنات بعضهم أولياء بعض. Allah Ta'ala, He says that verily the believing men and the believing women, they are awliya, they are friends, helpers and protectors of one another. يأمرون بالمعروف وينهون عن المنكر. They command with the good and they prohibit the evil. ويقيمون الصلاة ويؤتون الزكاة. And they establish the prayer and they pay the zakat. ويطيعون الله ورسوله. And they obey Allah and they obey His Messenger sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Pay attention to these characteristics. Pay attention closely to the characteristics that are mentioned here in this ayah. That the believing men and women, they are friends, helpers and protectors to one another. Pay attention to this. They command with the good and they forbid the evil. Pay attention to this. They establish the prayer and they pay the charity. Pay attention. And they obey Allah and they obey the Messenger. Pay close attention to these characteristics that are mentioned. Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He says, أُولَٰئِكَ سَيَرْحَمُهُمُ اللَّهُ. That these ones, the ones who are adorned with these characteristics, Allah will have mercy upon them. سَيَرْحَمُهُمُ اللَّهُ إِنَّ اللَّهَ عَزِيزٌ حَكِيمٌ. Verily Allah, He is the Almighty, He is the All-Wise. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make us of those who are adorned with the characteristics that are mentioned in this ayah. Ameen. وعن أبي حمزة أنس بن مالك خادم النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم ورضي الله تعالى عنه عن النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم أنه قال لا يؤمن أحدكم حتى يحب لأخيه ما يحب لنفسه. On the authority of Abu Hamza Anas ibn Malik, who was the servant of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, radiyallahu ta'ala anhu, he said that verily the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he said that none of you truly believes until he loves for his brother that which he loves for himself. وَقَوْلُهُ, and his statement, عن أبي حمزة أنس بن مالك خادم النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم, on the authority of Abu Hamza Anas ibn Malik, who was the servant of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Al-Shaykh Fawzan hafidhahullah ta'ala, he says, Anas ibn Malik al-Ansari khadim al-Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam, that Anas ibn Malik, who was from the Ansar, he was the servant of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So one may ask, well, how did he come to be the domestic servant of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam? So the Shaykh, he explains. He says, لأنه لما قدم النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم المدينة هرب مالك أبو أنس من المدينة لأنه كان يبغض الرسول صلى الله عليه وسلم فهرب إلى الشام ومات هناك كافرا. He said, because Malik, the father of Anas, once the Prophet ﷺ became to Al-Madinah, Malik, who was the father of Anas, he fled, he left, he ran away from Al-Madinah. And this was because he used to hate the Prophet ﷺ. He had a hatred for the Messenger ﷺ. So he fled, he ran away from Al-Madinah, leaving his wife and his child there. He ran away from Al-Madinah. And he ran away to Sham. And he died in Sham as a kafir. وكان أنس رضي الله تعالى عنه طفلا صغيرا. And at this time, Anas, he was a small child at this time. فجاءت به أمه. So his mother, after having been abandoned, after having been or become a single mother, she strove hard and did all that she can do to make sure that her child was brought up with the proper upbringing, which is a lesson to each and every one of us now, that we need to concern ourselves with the way in which our children are being raised, the way in which they are being raised and nurtured and being brought up. We have to look into this, and this is a serious concern. Ala kullin, you find that she went to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. فجاءت به أمه إلى رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم. So she brought Anas to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. وقالت, and she said, هذا أنس, this is Anas. يخدمك, he will serve you. This is Anas, and he will serve you. فتقبله النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم وَرَبَّاهُ. So the Prophet ﷺ, he accepted Anas, took him into his household. Anas lived with the Prophet ﷺ inside of his house. And therein the Prophet ﷺ, he raised him. He took care of him. He educated him. He brought him up upon the proper tarbiyah. He took care of him. This is a tremendous lesson for each and every one of us. There's so many lessons that can be derived from this narration. From them is this lesson. How the Prophet ﷺ, he took care and he looked out for and he was concerned for the well-being of the single Muslim women. He looked after and he took care of Anas, raised him. This is a lesson for us. Are we implementing this? Are we illustrations of this prophetic guidance, that we are looking into the affairs of the single Muslim women that live in our communities? Are we taking a vested interest inside of their children? Making sure that we are bringing the boys to the Masjid, for those who don't have a way to get to the Masjid because their father is not around, for whatever reason, from the reasons that he is absent, be it because he is not alive, be it because he is a kafir, so on and so forth. Whatever the reason may be, Are we taking a vested interest in these boys and bringing them to the masjid? Are we trying to speak to them to make sure that they're praying, to make sure that they believe correctly, to make sure that their methodology is correct, to make sure that they're memorizing the Qur'an, to make sure that they're attending the lessons and memorizing the hadith, to make sure that they learn how to read, to make sure that they know alif ba ta? Are we taking a vested interest? This is something that we have to question ourselves with regards to. And this is something that if we were to implement, you will find that our situation as a whole, as communities, it will become enriched, it will become better. So the Prophet ﷺ, he brought him up, he raised him. وَدَعَ لَهُ, and he made a dua for him. And this is another thing that we can do. Are we making dua for each other? عَلَى كُلٍّ, the Prophet ﷺ, he made dua for him. بقوله, with his statement, sallallahu alayhi wasallam, Allahumma akthir mala, oh Allah, increase his wealth, وَوَلَدَهُ, and his children, وَبَارِكْ لَهُ فِيمَا أَعْطَيْتَهُ, and bless him in that in which you had given to him. Oh Allah, increase his wealth, increase his children, and bless him in that which you had given to him. فَصَارَ يَخْدُمُ النَّبِي صلى الله عليه وسلم, so you find he became the servant of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. خَدَمَهُ 10 سِنِينَ, he was in this role for 10 years. مِنْ حِينَ قَدِمَ النَّبِي صلى الله عليه وسلم الْمَدِينَةِ, from the time that the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam he came to Al-Madinah, إِلَّا أَن تُوَفِّيَ, until he passed away sallallahu alaihi wasallam. فَهَذَا بِذَلِكَ فَضِيلَةٍ عَظِيمَةٍ, and with this you find that he reached a very high status, because he was the servant of the Prophet ﷺ. He learned from the Prophet ﷺ. He was raised by the Prophet ﷺ. فَتَرَبَّ عَلَى يَدِ الرَّسُولِ ﷺ, and he was raised upon the hand of the Prophet ﷺ. وَهَذَا مِنْ حُسْنِ تَصَرُّفِ أُمِّهِ رَضِيَ اللَّهُ تَعَالَى عَنْهَا, and this was from the excellent way in which his mother dealt with him and interacted with him and sought to excel in doing that which will benefit her son. May Allah Ta'ala be pleased with the both of them. عَلَى كُلٍّ يَا عِبَادٍ, I want us to contemplate over this. I want us to contemplate over this tremendous hadith, where the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he said, لَا يُؤْمِنُ أَحَدُكُمْ, that none of you believes. La yakmulu imanu, the meaning that his iman is not perfect, his iman is not complete. And this is why you find a lot of times this narration is translated as none of you truly believes, because it means that an individual, his iman is not complete, is not complete. Naam, laysa ma'ahu or laysa ma'ana, the meaning of this narration, it doesn't mean nafi asl iman, it doesn't mean that the origin or the foundation of his iman is negated. So it doesn't mean he doesn't believe, meaning he doesn't have faith. No, it means that his faith is not complete. His faith is not complete. Naam, it's not complete until when? Hatta yuhibba, until he loves. For who? Liman? Until he loves for who? Until he loves li akhihi ma yuhibbu li nafsi, until he loves for his brother that which he loves for himself. So it's not possible to have a complete iman until we love for our brothers what we love for ourselves. Until we love for our brothers what we love for ourselves. So the question therefore becomes, Ain al-Hub, where is the love? Where is the illustration of this love that we have for one another? Where is that found? Let us look for it. Let us investigate ourselves. Let us investigate our actions to see, where is it at? Where is the illustration of this? Loving for our brothers that which we love for ourselves. Where is the illustration? If we can go to bed full and our brothers go to bed hungry. Where is the illustration of this? If our brothers have a need and they're sitting right next to us and we don't help them with regard to that which they need, where is the love? The meaning of the statement, until he loves for his brother what he loves for himself. Meaning, يعني من لم يحب لأخيه ما يحبه لنفسه يكون إيمانه ناقصا. Meaning that the one who does not love for his brother that which he loves for himself, then his faith is deficient. وَلَيْسَ مُرَادْ هُنَا أَخَاهُ مِنَ النَّسَبِ. And it is not intended here his brother, meaning his blood brother. That's not what is intended, blood brother. بَلْ الْمُرَادْ بِأَخِيهِ كُلُّ مُسْلِمٍ. But what is intended by his brother, it means every Muslim. Every Muslim. It doesn't mean his blood brother, so he looks out for his blood brother, and that's it. But it means every Muslim, no matter where he's from, no matter how he looks, no matter what language he speaks, no matter the color of his skin, no matter what's his mother tongue, whatever he's at, he's a Muslim, then we have to love for him or we love for ourselves. Whatever he's at, he's a Muslim, we have to love for him or we love for ourselves. And this is because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He says, إِنَّمَا الْمُؤْمِنُونَ إِخْوَةٌ. Allah says that verily the believers, they are brothers. The believers, verily, no doubt, undoubtedly, the believers, they are not but brothers. They are brothers. So where is the love that we're supposed to have for our brothers? Where is the love? The Shaykh, he says, فَيُحِبُّ لِأَخِيهِ الْمُسْلِمِ مِنَ الْخَيْرِ مَا يُحِبُّ لِنَفْسِهِ. So he should love for his brother Muslim the good that he loves for himself. We love to be employed. So we should be searching and helping our brothers who are unemployed to find employment. We love that good reaches us. So we should love that the good reaches our brothers. It is a must, ya ibad, that we have a concern for one another. That we ask about one another. Not asking because we're nosy, just because we want to know, but asking so we make sure that everybody has what he needs. Everybody has the good with them that we want with ourselves. So we have to be of those who ask so that we may help one another. Because this is from the ways in which we love one another. The Shaykh, he says, لأن المسلمين نفس واحدة. Because the believers, the Muslims, they are one soul. They are one soul. This is how we're supposed to be, one soul. وَجَسَدٌ. And one body, jasadun wahid, one body. This is how we're supposed to be as communities, one body. Not everybody just concerned with himself and he don't care, but those who help and assist one another. As it comes in a hadith that's been collected by Bukhaari and Muslim. Al-mu'min, that the believer, to the believer, kal-bunyan. He's like a wall, it's like a structure. يَشُدُّ بَعْضُهُ بَعْضًا. That certain portions of it help to support the other portions of it. وَشَبَّكَ بَيْنَ أَصَابِيعِ. And the Prophet ﷺ, he put his fingers together like this. He intertwined them together like this. This is how we're supposed to be as a community. Right now, are we like this as a community? Are we helping each other? Or are we like this? Far apart. For that one, that single sister in our community, does she feel from the community that we are like this? So she has support. The only Muslim in her family, her and her children, the kuffar, her family coming against her. Does she have support? Are we making sure that she's okay? Are we making sure that her children are being educated? Or are we only worried about us and ours? Because this is not the mentality of the Muslim. Because for the Muslim, everywhere in the world is us and ours. Helping out one another. Being together. The Prophet ﷺ, he said, مَثْلُ الْمُؤْمِنِينَ, that the example of the believers, فِي تَوَادِّهِمْ وَتَرَاحُمِهِمْ وَتَعَاقُبِهِمْ, that the example of the believers with regards to how they love for one another, or how they love each other, and how they have mercy upon each other and how they have affection for each other. Because you see, we may come and we say, but we love the Muslims. I love all the Muslims, akhi. We may come, we make this statement. But the Prophet ﷺ, he gives us an example of how this is actualized. So the similitude of how we truly love each other, truly have affection for each other, and are merciful and have mercy for each other. The Prophet ﷺ, he said, "Mithlu jasad" is like one body. إِذَا اشْتَكَى مِنْهُ عُدْوٌ, if one of the limbs of the body has a problem, has a complaint in the like, تَدَاعَ لَهُ سَائِرُ الْجَسَدِ بِالسَّهْرِ وَالْحُمَّى. If one of the part of the body aches, has a pain, then you'll find that the whole of the body is called to insomnia and fever. The whole of the body is affected. If a person, his little finger is infected, then you will find that the whole of his body will be up all night. He will have a fever, not just in his little finger, but everywhere inside of his body. This is the state of the Muslims. Are we interacting with each other like this within our families? Are we interacting with each other like this within our communities? Is this how we are with each other worldwide? Because this is how we are supposed to be. أقول قولي هذا واستغفر لي ولكم فاستغفروه فإنه هو الغفور الرحيم. بسم الله والحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وبعد. يا عباد الله. Also, what is a must is the opposite understanding with regards to what was mentioned in the hadith, meaning that it is from that none of us will have the complete iman until we love for our brothers what we love for ourselves. Also was necessitated that none of us will have the complete belief until we also hate for our brothers what we hate for ourselves. So the Shaykh, he says, أن يكره المسلم لأخيه ما يكره لنفسه, that a person has to hate for his, that will reach his brother what he hate would reach himself. Naam. Just like he hates for himself evil and harm, he has to hate for his brother evil and harm. He has to hate that harm will reach his brother, and so on and so forth. Then the Shaykh, he brings a tremendous example, as he mentions. He says is that from that in which we will make sure that reaches our brothers is a benefit that is ma'nawi wal madi. We will love that it reaches them a benefit that is ma'nawi, that which is intangible, can't be touched and so on and so forth, as well as a tangible benefit. He said for naf'in al-ma'nawi, so the intangible benefits that we want to reach our brothers, the example will be like a tanasuh. We give them good advice based upon the deen. Wa ta'aleem, and we making sure they're being educated about the deen. Wa amru bil ma'ruf wa nahy 'anil munkar, and we make sure that we're commanding them to do good and preventing them from doing evil. This has to be present within our communities, these characteristics. Wal madi, and also that tangible benefit, musa'adatihi, like helping him out. إِذَا احْتَاجَ مَالًا, if he needs money, then we help him out. Na'am. But the Shaykh, he mentions, وَلَيْسَ ذَلِكَ الْحَدِيث مَقْصُورًا عَلَى أَن تُعْتِيَ أَخَاكَ شَيْئًا مِنَ الْمَالِ. But this hadith is not restricted to just meaning you give your brother some money when he needs money. Because some people, this is their mentality, they throw money at it. Someone needs something, here, give him money. Sister needs her light bill to be paid for, here, pay for the light bill. But they also have to have a vested interest, make sure that she's learning. If she doesn't have a way to get to the masjid, make sure that you put your wives in touch with her so your wives will bring her to the masjid. To make sure if she has children who are boys, that you're helping out the children, so on and so forth, talking to them, calling them to good, forbidding them from the evil, making sure that they're learning, so on and so forth. You can't just write a check and it's done. It's more than that. It has to be both. That which is tangible and intangible has to be both. Ala kullin, these are just but some examples of what is needed within the community, within the world. These are just but some of the examples that is needed. For those Muslims who are far away and you can't help them. Like the people of Al-Islam who are suffering what they're suffering inside of Syria. Or who are suffering what they're suffering inside of the various lands. Then we should make dua. We should make dua for them. If this is all we can do, then let us do this. Let us make dua. And in every case, even if we can do more, let us make dua. Because this is from the greatest help, aid, and assistance that we can give to any of our brothers and sisters, is that we make dua for them. We make dua for them. So don't be negligent. Don't be stingy. Don't be selfish. Only thinking about yourselves. Only worrying about yourselves. But look throughout the world to see what you can do. For those who you can make dua for them, make dua for them. For those who you can do more, do more. We have to be like this. Don't let the news come to you about what's happening in this place and that place and that place and this place, and you take it as just knowledge of what's going on over there. But your heart should feel away if you hear about the slaughter of Muslim men, women and children, and your heart doesn't feel bad, your eyes don't fill with water. Check yourself. Check yourself. Something wrong. If you know of situations where you can help out, either physically by going and helping with your body, by helping lifting this and pull that, where you can go and you can offer rides, where someone needs food, you can come and bring them food. You know the situation. Someone needs help from your Muslim brothers and sisters, but you don't help. Check yourself. Something wrong. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make us of those who show to our brothers and our sisters the true affection that is to be showed to them. Those who truly love each other. Those who truly want for each other the good what we want for ourselves. Those who truly hate for each other that which we hate for ourselves. نسأل الله تعالى أن يوفقني وإياكم لما يحبه ويرضى وأن يجعلنا من الذين يستمعون قولا فيتبعون أحسنا وأن يجعلنا مباركا حيثما كنا وأن يجعلنا ممن إذا أعطي شكر وإذا ابتلي صبر وإذا أذنب استغفر فإن هؤلاء ثلاثة عنوان السعادة. هذا يا عباد الله وأقيموا الصلاة فإن الصلاة تنهى عن الفحشاء والمنكر.